Hello everybody. Dating and development here. If you know who I am, you know who I am. If you don't know who I am, now you know. Welcome to the video. If you're listening to this on YouTube, if you're listening to this on any well-known streaming service, a very warm welcome to you. Now, no sponsor for today because it's a different theme we're looking at. We're looking at an article analysis today. So I have two articles. One's quite short, the other is quite long. And it's all to do with the dating culture in Ireland, with the bug and without the bug. So without further ado, let's get started. Better get the recording on. Whatever decides to. There we go. Right, so the challenges of dating in modern Ireland. In this article, we explore some of the difficulties so that people new to dating or those trying to get back into it know what they're going to face. Now, I briefly read over this article, but then something happened with recording and had to start again. So anyways, Ireland is a lovely country, isn't it just? It's so nice. One which people from all around the world come to see, and that's true. During the summer, you would see Spanish, French, my ex here, so it's grand, it's fine, it's good. While people on vacation might romanticize the island, all is not well with the culture of romance on the island. Yeah, you can say that there's also been a lot of me also movements going on here lately with Irish comedians, and there's a whole ad campaign going on with not being very friendly at work in terms of advancing in a very provocative manner, if you can catch my drift. In fact, there are several major challenges of dating in modern Ireland that are quite unique to this nation. Reading the article, I can tell you now they're not unique. They are not. Because everywhere around the world faces it. We're going to explore some of these situations so that people new to dating or those trying to get back into it know what they're going to face. So your exes will appear everywhere. No, they don't. They don't. I can tell you right now, your exes do not appear everywhere. Okay? The first thing that comes to mind if you think of Ireland, I phrased that really wrong. My intonation was way off there for phrasing the question. For some people, it's the beautiful rolling green hills, but for others, it's the size. For me, it's trying to get home to see my family sometimes. That takes about 2.5 hours. Ireland is not all that big, and there aren't a whole lot of big cities that you can use to find dates. There are a good few big cities. You have Dublin, you have Belfast and Northern Ireland, you have Waterford City, you have Kilkenny City, even though Kilkenny is technically, it should be a town, but it's a city because it has a cathedral. You have Cork. Cork's quite big, and Galway, and there are plenty of other big towns around the place. But cities, unlike America, Ireland doesn't have that majorly big of cities. But with Dublin, Genie, Mac, what's going on there? Sorry, my mic stand. But with Dublin is quite a big place. And with the dates that I've been on and everything else with different women, you're not going to really come across your ex. It's happened to me once where I walked past an ex. Other than that, it's unheard of. It's never happened to me. Now, always exceptions to the rule unless there is someone who's come across their ex. A lot of the times out in Dublin city centre, but I definitely haven't. Ireland is not all that big, and there aren't a whole lot of big cities that you can use to find dates. I already said that. The problem is that once you're dating in one city or another, your exes are going to pile up on you. That is if you're a serial dater or literally, right? If you're dating girls from in college, so 18 to 22, a lot of those girls will tend to go home at the weekends to see their family. Even during the summer, they won't keep on their accommodation for the summertime, so they'll be back home. So that's a good, nice chunk of those women out gone already. Now, women who live in Dublin, different story, but they don't necessarily pile up, because women I've dated in Dublin, I've never seen them around the place. So I don't really think that reason makes sense. I'll be out on the town with a woman one week and then see her again in the arms of another guy the next. Never happened to me. Never heard anyone that happening to. I've never seen it happen to anyone. I haven't heard of it happen to anyone. People I know, people I don't know. Never seen it at all. Now, there are girls I've seen that I've probably, gotten with on nights out. And that's about it. Briefly talked to them. Nothing more, nothing less. Never seen them with another guy though. You might even stop going to your favourite bar for a month because you keep seeing the same former dates there. No. Really, you stop going to those bars if you keep bringing the same girl or girls to the same bar you bring them to dates because the bar staff begin to know you. Other than that, I don't necessarily agree with that. There's one bar in particular I've been to and I've not seen anyone I used to date there at all. So even when they're with my friends and that, haven't seen any of them. That's one big lie. Not from me, but that reason. Most dating sites are rubbish. Another thing about Ireland that bothers a lot of people is the dating websites, or lack thereof. When the swiping sites hit the market, everyone jumped on them, young and old. Everyone got enrolled in Tinder dating and got familiar with the swiping. Right? Now, in Ireland, there's no things for how here's a dating app and you match yourself with a pint of Guinness, or you talk to someone over a pint of Guinness. Doesn't happen. We have, like America, like England, like some European country, we have the exact same dating apps. We still have Tinder, we still have Grindr, we have Zoosk, we have Badoo, we have Plenty of Fish, we have Match.com, we have OkCupid, we also have Elite Singles, we also have Ashley Madison, believe it or not. We're that advanced. We have the exact same dating sites, apps even, around the world. That makes no sense. So that's pretty much debunked thinking about it. That's why online dating in Ireland is so difficult, comments the author. People are looking for something quick rather than a date that has meaning. From my experience using Tinder and some other dating apps, kind of primarily such to Tinder, a lot of women were looking for relationships. Very few that I've come across were looking for something casual. Now, it was the men on the other side who were looking for something casual, something quick. Now, I have been with women in the past from Tinder, they were only looking for something casual. But it was the men who I've talked to, it's not even a word, who I have talked to, saying that they wanted something quick. But least not to mention that when women go onto Tinder, from hearsay and experience again, and even getting insights from other women, they use Tinder primarily for validation or an ego boost when they're bored. Like, very few I've come across have stated that, but if they come across a guy who say, okay, great, validation, ego, but I can go on a date with them, they will. But usually for women in Ireland, it's validation and ego. That's, if you want to correct me in that, by all means necessary, go ahead. Slap my hand and say that was pretty bold. Well, look, that it is what it is. Some of the more mature dating websites are still here, and they allow people to seek real partners and to forge a real relationship. However, if you're under the age of 40, your dating site options are quite limited. Well, in general, yeah, I can see now there are dating apps that cater for the more mature audience, so to speak. But reading that, there are men on Tinder in Ireland, even women on Tinder, who are, I totally lost what I was saying there, who are 40 or the age of 40, who are on Tinder. And what I've noticed is that women who are in their 30s look for men who are younger. Now, I'm not talking about 33, 34, 30, if the woman's 35. If the woman's 35, she's at least looking for a late to mid 20s. Now, men, you can be 40 and they can still, put their age range down to the 20s and see what happens. But that's what I've gauged. Your options aren't limited. I think it's just natural progression in human biology where we age, where the years pass by, and we do lose our looks in that as well. And with that being said, we do want to try and get with younger people to think that we still do have it. Some are more desperate than others, but that's a different case for a different day. The cost of dating is sky high, and it's not. I will begin right now. The cost of dating is not sky high. It isn't. If you're looking to take someone out on a real, somewhat fancy date, then you must put your savings into it. No. It's a small wonder that anyone wants to date in person now, because the cost of food, drinks, and services will ensure you have one date a month for the sake of affordability. Now, one major mistake, I did it once, I can't really preach fully to the choir, but one mistake that people make, especially men, is that they bring women out for food on the very first date. An expensive meal. I'm banging my fist while doing this because it drives me nuts, but I did it once because I was hungry after the gym and I needed good food. You don't. If you're going out on a date and you're spending big bucks straight away, I'm talking big money, like real big money, and you're lavishing this woman on the very first date, well, guess what, bozo? She's going to be expecting that on every other date. Treat them like a fan. Treat them like a celebrity. You're going to become a fan. It doesn't go for just women, but it goes for everyone else you come across. They will look down on you. The point of first dates and everything else is to keep it fun and simple and not spend too much money. If you're living in Dublin and you're renting a house, it's quite expensive unless you're sharing with other people. But I'm spending around $700 a month on a house I'm renting in Ireland, and that's between 4 other people. Now, for where it is and what it's like, well worth the money. But dating in Ireland is not sky high. I can easily go out on a date and spend €15 and it could be quite a successful date. You don't have to spend that much money. I can name you 3 places in Dublin that does good drink deals. You can get 2 cocktails for €5. That's a bargain. If you're in the country, if you're in any other city like Galway, even somewhere in the country in a smaller town, you can go to a pub and get 3 G&Ts. I did this before. I got 3 G&Ts for €10. That's nothing. So the cost of dating isn't necessarily sky high. It's sky high if you don't know what you're doing. That's when it gets problematic when it comes to money. Carrying on with this, now it's not as dire as choosing between rent and finding true love, but it can feel like that it is when you're trying to make a good impression. Your good impression is going to come not from how flashy you are with your money. If you're trying to be flashy with your money and say, oh, I can provide for you, you're going to attract the wrong kind of woman into your life. A woman who's going to purely use you for your resources alone. When you go into a date, it's your confidence, it's your personality, it's how you carry yourself, it's your charm, it's your wit. It's a lot of things that men have to do to try in order to secure a girlfriend or a woman they can be, casually dating and engage in the indoor Olympics from time to time. The bottom line is that a good online dating service is usually the first stop for Irish people out of necessity rather than a lack of dating culture. It's not necessity, it's the fact that we're lazy. Online dating is so convenient because people can hide behind a screen. You can't tell what someone's personality is really like. Maybe the photos and the biography and Tinder can help. But other than that, you're better off talking to people at nights out and everything else and who you click with. But a woman who shows you some sort of interest or provides you indicators of interest or choosing signals. there is a dating culture in Ireland. It's called going down to the field with a bag of cans and drinking, and hopefully the girl you're drinking with likes you and you like her back, or through friends of friends. That's kind of the dating culture I've seen. But it's not of necessity. It's just laziness, validation, or an ego boost. And too many vacationers. The final thing that sets people back when it comes to dating in Ireland is the inundation of vacationers. They come to the country looking for a fling. Let me rephrase that. The men who come to Ireland are looking for a fling, because there are plenty of stag parties that go on, or American tourists who are usually male. And that's fine for a lot of the lads in Ireland, but it makes dating hectic for everyone else. You might see someone appear on a website, start chatting with them, and then discover the relationship can't go anywhere because they live across the globe. If you know it's not going to work out, then keep it simple and casual. Okay, of course you want to, advance things with him or her, but the thing is with that is, what men tend to do is that we come across a girl who we have a really high level of interest in, and then it's head over heels. Let me imagine my children with you. Great, we can have 4 children, and one of them's at least 5'11" and bald. At 3 years of age. Like we men, I used to think okay, great, I'm going to have 3 children with you, but I don't do that anymore because there's no point to it. You're just setting yourself up for failure. And why? There's plenty of other women out there. Just because it doesn't work out with one doesn't mean it might not work out with someone else. But hey, as I said earlier, different story for a different time. Long distance isn't so bad from Cork to Belfast, but it's Cork to New York City, then the relationships tend to fall apart. Long distance relationships, I might advocate for them. Hard to say, but they can fall apart because either one person on the one end of the globe might cheat, or the other person on the other end of the globe might do something, or it's just they don't want to put the effort in. They don't. So, now if there's a specific time frame where they're coming back home, okay, I understand, but if you're trying to maintain a relationship, as said there, from Cork, which is on the southwest of Ireland, to New York City, it's not going to work. Technically it isn't. Now, I've seen long distance relationships that have worked where the person has come back, either male or female. More power to them. The relationship, they're only gone for 3 to 6 months, so it was fine. They did see each other once or twice during the time. Now, as a major tourist destination, more than a few Irish people have ended up with broken hearts as a result of this situation. Yeah, because they flung themselves too far into the deep end. They could only paddle, not swim properly. But even there's these videos as well on YouTube where there's this chap in Temple Bar, a well-known drinking spot in Ireland, in Dublin, where a lot of the tourists tend to go, especially for St. Patrick's Day. And he was asking these tourists, women, that if they would kiss him, and the amount of women who kissed him was insane. Nothing to be jealous about, but knowing those women coming over for St. Patrick's Day and everything else, they're coming over for a good time, not necessarily for something serious. It's clear that Ireland, despite its beauty and reputation, has some serious dating problems. It doesn't have serious dating problems. It doesn't. Not necessarily. A lot of things there are just lies, or just over-exaggerated. Dating's not too expensive. What else was said? Dating sites are the exact same around the world. Your exes do not appear everywhere. Not from what I've seen. Running into exes, finding serious Irish dating sites, high costs, and other issues are keeping people from having meaningful dates. They aren't. I've noticed as well, I'm going to read the one article because we're hitting on 20 minutes, that Irish men don't tend to ask out girls. And I've been on the receiving end of this as well. Literally because a guy sees a girl he likes, and he'll say, okay girl, I want to take you on a date, and she'll laugh at him. And then she'll tell her friends who are there, and then she'll laugh at him as well. I've been on the receiving end of this. Asked one girl to go on a date, like, oh god, no, I don't want to go on a date with you, no offense though, and then laughs it off. Thinking seriously. It's the Irish mentality as well towards men. like ever since like 50 Shades of Grey and that came out, and like these higher standards to men coming out also, it's hard to find more meaningful engagements in Ireland, even on Tinder, right? I'm bald, I shave my head, thanks to genetics, thanks to testosterone, thank God, right? You know, praise the Lord, can't wait. And matched with the girl, said let's go on a date, and then she saw a photo of me on Snapchat and said, look, you're way too bald for me. How can you be way too bald for someone? I get people have a preference when it comes to hair, but it's that the standards are getting higher and higher when women look towards men, and men have to do so much more in order to get a second glance. And I notice it, like don't get me wrong, I love women, but looking at it, that Irish men have to do a whole lot more to gain the attention of Irish women these days. Their standards are getting higher and higher. Like, I was told that because my hairline was receding pretty bad in my early 20s, I was like 21, 22, 23, shaved it off when I was 23, and one girl was like, said, you know, if you weren't muscular from going to the gym and you still had hair, I wouldn't find you attractive. But now the way you are, I do find you attractive. You know, now my personality's kind of add on to that kind of thing. But the superficiality is there to an extent. It is. And it's quite a shame to see, because I see these lads walking down the street, and like they just, like with this girl, where I had one interaction before I finished off with my absolute tangents going on. I have a free house, so I'm pretty excited that I can talk a bit better. That I was walking down O'Connell Street in Dublin city centre one of the days after buying, I think I just bought The Weeknd's House of Balloons on vinyl, the mixtape of House of Balloons. Absolute great mixtape, give it a listen. And there are these group of kids, no, 25-year-old same group of kids, they were like 16, 17, right? Teenagers, 15 to 17 at least. And there was this guy who I could tell really liked this girl, and she was with her friends, and when her friends walked off a small bit, she looked at her friend, or the guy was just eating a chip from McDonald's, and she kind of gave them looks like, don't leave me, stay beside me. Like, poor chap, like, you know, God forbid if a girl would like a guy, and the guy's like, oh, I don't like this guy, don't leave me, I want to be with her, like, you know, don't like her or whatever. Be absolute chaos, you know, be World War III going on, another rising in Ireland, another historic event going on. I'm just exaggerating at that stage, but listen, there are plenty of problems when it comes to dating, but finding a serious Irish dating site, yeah, they don't really exist, because you have to use all the other ones that are out there. High costs, no. And other issues, there are plenty of other issues, and I mentioned one or two of them there. Dating in Ireland is not that hard if you know what to do. If you're a guy and you're putting your best foot forward, you're self-improving, you're working on everything in your life, you'll be fine. You'll have your options. You have to do the work. And before you even get into the dating scene, do the work first and then go in and learn from that. That's how I did it, and it worked perfectly fine for me. Not to me, but worked perfectly fine to me. The moral of the story is, dating in Ireland is not that hard. It isn't. But anyway, that's all I have time for. I'll do the second article there sometime soon. It's to do with being a pen pals on online dating during the bug. Crazy stuff, because it's absolute rubbish. I read like a small bit of it. Don't necessarily agree with a lot of things there. But anyways, take care. God bless. Stay safe. And be better. And hope you enjoy this. If you're listening to YouTube, please give it a like, comment, subscribe, share, do the good stuff. And if you listen to this on any streaming service, please tell others about it. Would really appreciate it. So, until next time, God bless.